With the trend of remasters and remakes being rampant in the last few years, here we go again as Naughty Dog have announced a remaster for The Last of Us Part 2. Now, before casting judgment on this like we all did with The Last of Us Part 1 remake, let's hear Naughty Dog out here and see if this is worth it before we cast any judgment. Now you may think to yourself, surely this is just another cash grab port of The Last of Us 2 to modern systems, part of Naughty Dog's ongoing endeavour to re-release all their old games after not enough time of them actually being released. But it actually comes with some new additions from the standard PS4 game, though how worth it these end up being does remain to be seen, especially dependent on how big of a fan of The Last of Us you are. But I suppose if you're watching a video talking about it, you at least have a bit of interest in it, I suppose. So what does this remaster come with? For a start, we get No Return, a roguelike survival mode, where you can play as multiple characters like Lev, Tommy, Mel, Jesse, and Dina, and probably others, but the trailer doesn't show those. In this mode, you pick a character, which all have unique traits that differ how you play, and fend off the infected and other combatants in stealth and combat encounters that remakes areas from the base game, and as we can see in the trailer, probably some areas that we haven't got to be in open combat before, like Jackson. This mode will feature unlockable characters, skins, and more, the ability to customize your own runs, and a global leaderboard for the daily run. Then there's also guitar freeplay, with different instruments and characters and backdrops that let us have a whole resurgence of those shorts and TikToks of song covers being played on the guitar, which I for one am really excited for. I love those. There will also now be playable lost levels, as Naughty Dog calls it. Cut sequences of the game that were left on the cutting room floor, but have now been picked up and stuck back onto the game for this remaster. They aren't finished levels, but are playable and will feature embedded dev commentary that should give richer context to the world and should provide a cool glimpse into the creative process of these games. Alongside that, there's also going to be dev commentary across the main campaign cutscenes from Neil Druckmann himself, the narrative lead Haley Gross, and from Troy Baker, Ashley Johnson, and Laura Bailey, the main stars of the game, which will delve into how they all fought during the events of the game and give a richer context of the story and how they portrayed these characters. But that's all the wholly new stuff. The remaster also comes with the usual remastery things like enhanced graphics, 4K output in fidelity mode, 1440p upscaled to 4K stuff output in performance mode, as well as an unlocked frame rate, faster load times, and haptic features for the PS5 controllers. Also coming from the Part 1 remake, we're going to get a speedrun mode and bonus skins, some of which we can see in the trailer, like Ellie in a spacesuit. So, if that seems like a lot, I would say it's because it is. Compared to Part 1's remake, which, while having a huge improvement to the graphics as well as some bonus skins and content, this Part 2 remaster has a hell of a lot more. A new game mode in No Return, 2 if you count the guitar freeplay, as well as these lost levels and dev commentary are going to make it a lot more of an offering comparative in terms of tangible content compared to Part 1. But hey, what's the price of this remaster anyway? I hear you say. And well, let me tell you, it's $10 for the upgrade if you already have the game. Though God knows the price if you haven't got the game yet, as they haven't announced the price for the remaster on its own. But they do have this special WLF edition that comes with a steelbook, some trading cards, pins, and a WLF patch. The WLF patch. But more than likely, I'd say these will come with the base prices. Hopefully, the remastered Part 2 won't be at full retail price because it's not a full retail new release. But the WLF edition could be somewhere around that $70 mark. So is this worth it? I would say so. Compared to Part 1 having the full price for the pleasure of updated graphics, though I still stand by that being worth it for the experience, this is a great price if you already have Part 2. And honestly, if you aren't a big fan of The Last of Us or Part 2, then you wouldn't really have any reason to get this anyway, so it's a bit of a non-issue. All this included stuff is for the fans of the game, especially if you like things like commentaries and lost levels that are included in this. It reminds me of like old DVDs that came with commentary and had the deleted scenes that we used to get. They give a lot more context to those movies, and hopefully with this now, part two. It's very nostalgic in that sense, and as we say, it gives us a lot more of a insight into the whole creative process behind the game, and should add more context in how to perceive the story. One of the more polarizing elements of the part two of The Last of Us Part 2, the Part 2. But it should add more context into the polarizing elements of the game itself. But I think this is going to be an easy get for me. Now, if they didn't offer this $10 upgrade, I'd be a lot less likely to grab it day one, especially with how recent Part 2 is and how well it already holds up graphically to this day. But this upgrade does offer not only a slightly better look, but a good excuse for delving back into the world of The Last of Us with all the extra content. Not to mention the no return mode that does look like a hell of a lot of fun, and should be great to have some solid replayable experiences using The Last of Us's very fun combat and stealth mechanics. The only thing I hope for is that this remaster doesn't bring all of them folk out of the woodwork who swear that Neil Druckmann personally came, killed their whole family in a CGI suit once The Last of Us Part 2 released. Because honestly, who needs that damn negativity these days? But anyway, thanks for watching folks. If you want to see more of The Last of Us content from me, let me know with a like or a comment. And if you don't, you could also comment that as well. Or throw your fist at the sub button or any of that. It's all appreciated. Thanks folks. Peace.